The French Revolution, a pivotal moment in world history that has long been celebrated as a triumph of liberty, equality, and fraternity. But beneath the surface of this romanticized narrative lies a darker, more complex reality. This is the story of the French Revolution's shadowy underbelly, its unexpected beneficiaries, and its far-reaching impact on the course of human history. The year is 1789. The streets of Paris are ablaze with revolutionary fervor. The storming of the Bastille on July 14th marks the beginning of a new era, one that promises to overthrow the oppressive monarchy and usher in an age of enlightenment and democracy. This is the French Revolution, as most of us know it, a glorious uprising against tyranny and injustice. Indeed, the revolution did bring about significant positive changes. It abolished the feudal system, established a secular state, and laid the groundwork for modern democracy. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, adopted in August 1789, became a foundational document for human rights. These achievements have rightfully earned their place in the annals of history. However, as we peel back the layers of this historical epoch, we uncover a more sinister narrative. The French Revolution, like many transformative events in history, had a dark side that is often overlooked or downplayed. It is this aspect that we will explore in depth, revealing the complexities and contradictions that define this tumultuous period. Let us begin with perhaps the most infamous chapter of the Revolution, the Reign of Terror. From 1793 to 1794, France descended into a period of violence and paranoia that would leave an indelible mark on its history. Under the leadership of Maximilien Robespierre and the Committee of Public Safety, the revolutionary government embarked on a campaign of mass executions, targeting anyone suspected of being an enemy of the revolution. The guillotine, that grim symbol of revolutionary justice, claimed an estimated 17,000 lives during this period. Nobles, clergy, and ordinary citizens alike fell victim to the blade. But it was not just the aristocracy who suffered. Many of the revolution's own leaders, including Georges Danton and Camille Desmoulins, found themselves on the wrong side of the committee's favor and were sent to the scaffold. The Reign of Terror represented a stark betrayal of the revolution's ideals. In the name of liberty, the government imposed a totalitarian regime that suppressed dissent and eliminated political opponents. The very notion of justice was perverted, with hasty trials and executions based on mere suspicion rather than evidence. This period serves as a chilling reminder of how quickly the pursuit of noble ideals can descend into brutality and oppression. But the terror was not the only dark aspect of the revolution. The power vacuum created by the fall of the monarchy gave rise to another form of autocracy, the rule of Napoleon Bonaparte. While Napoleon is often portrayed as a product of the revolution, his rise to power marked the end of the Republican experiment and the beginning of a new imperial era. Napoleon's coup d'etat in 1799, known as the 18th Brumaire, effectively ended the revolutionary period. He established himself as first consul and later as emperor, centralizing power and rolling back many of the democratic reforms of the early revolution. While Napoleon did preserve some revolutionary principles, such as legal equality and meritocracy, his rule was fundamentally authoritarian. Under Napoleon, France became embroiled in a series of wars that engulfed much of Europe. These conflicts, while expanding French influence, came at a tremendous cost in lives and resources. The ideals of liberty and self-determination that had inspired the revolution were now being trampled under the boots of French soldiers across the continent. The economic impact of the revolution and its aftermath was another aspect that often goes unexamined. The financial crisis that had helped spark the revolution was not resolved by the fall of the monarchy. Instead, the revolutionary government's policies often exacerbated the problem. One of the most disastrous economic policies was the issuance of assignats, a form of paper money backed by confiscated church lands. Initially introduced as a solution to the government's financial woes, the overprinting of assignats led to rampant inflation. By 1796, the currency had lost 99% of its value, wiping out savings and causing widespread economic hardship. The revolution's attack on the church, while aimed at reducing its power and wealth, had unintended consequences. The confiscation of church property and the suppression of religious orders disrupted many of the social services provided by the church, including education and care for the poor and sick. This created a vacuum that the new government struggled to fill. Having explored the dark sides of the revolution, let us now turn our attention to its real beneficiaries. Contrary to the popular narrative of a people's revolution, the primary beneficiaries were not the common masses, but rather specific groups who were well positioned to take advantage of the upheaval. First and foremost among these were the bourgeoisie, the middle class of merchants, professionals, and property owners. While they had been instrumental in starting the revolution, their goal was not to create an egalitarian society, but to secure their own political and economic interests. The abolition of feudal privileges and the confiscation of church and noble lands opened up new opportunities for land ownership and business expansion. The sale of national lands, consisting of property confiscated from the church and emigrated nobles, primarily benefited those with the means to purchase them. This led to a consolidation of wealth among the bourgeoisie, rather than a redistribution to the poor. The new laws and institutions established by the revolution, such as the civil code introduced by Napoleon, largely reflected bourgeois values and interests. Napoleon Bonaparte and his supporters were another group that reaped significant benefits from the revolution. Napoleon's rise to power allowed him to establish a new aristocracy, the so-called notables, who were rewarded with titles, lands, and positions of influence. This new elite, drawn largely from the military and the bourgeoisie, replaced the old nobility but maintained many of the same privileges. The Napoleonic Wars, while devastating for much of Europe, created opportunities for social mobility within the French army. Soldiers could rise through the ranks based on merit rather than birth, and many of Napoleon's marshals came from humble origins. However, this mobility was limited and came at the cost of constant warfare. Somewhat paradoxically, certain foreign powers also benefited from the French Revolution and its aftermath. Britain, while engaged in a long struggle against revolutionary and Napoleonic France, emerged as the dominant global power. The wars weakened France and its continental allies, allowing Britain to expand its colonial empire and establish itself as the world's leading industrial and naval power. The United States, too, benefited indirectly from the upheaval in Europe. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803, in which the US acquired a vast territory from France, was a direct result of Napoleon's need for funds to finance his European campaigns. This acquisition doubled the size of the young nation and set the stage for its westward expansion. Now, let us examine the profound impact the French Revolution had on world history, an influence that extends far beyond the borders of France and continues to shape our world today. The spread of revolutionary ideas was perhaps the most significant and far-reaching consequence of the French Revolution. The concepts of liberty, equality, and national sovereignty, despite the revolution's failings in practice, became powerful ideological forces throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. These ideas inspired independence movements in Latin America, influenced the European revolutions of 1848, and even played a role in shaping the American and Haitian revolutions. The revolution also fundamentally altered the political landscape of Europe. The old system of absolute monarchy was dealt a blow from which it would never fully recover. Even in countries where monarchies survived, they were forced to adapt, leading to the development of constitutional monarchies and eventually to modern democratic systems. The French Revolution's impact on political thought and philosophy cannot be overstated. It gave birth to modern concepts of left and right in politics, derived from the seating arrangement in the National Assembly. The revolution also sparked intense debate among philosophers and political theorists, influencing thinkers from Hegel to Marx. The revolution's effect on the relationship between church and state was profound and lasting. The idea of a secular state, free from the influence of religious institutions, spread across Europe and beyond. This principle of secularism, or laïcité in French, remains a cornerstone of many modern democracies. In the realm of warfare, the French Revolution ushered in the era of total war and mass conscription. The levée en masse, or mass mobilization of citizens for military service, transformed the nature of warfare. No longer were wars fought by small professional armies, but by entire nations in arms. This concept would have devastating consequences in the world wars of the 20th century. The revolution also had a significant impact on the development of nationalism. The idea of the nation-state, with a citizenry united by a common culture and language rather than loyalty to a monarch, emerged from this period. This concept would reshape the map of Europe in the 19th and 20th centuries and continues to be a powerful force in global politics. The long-term consequences of the French Revolution are complex and often contradictory. On one hand, it accelerated the spread of democratic ideals and human rights. On the other, it demonstrated how these noble goals could be perverted in pursuit of power, leading to authoritarianism and violence. The revolution's legacy can be seen in the tension between individual rights and collective action that continues to shape political discourse. The question of how to balance liberty and equality, two sometimes conflicting ideals championed by the revolution, remains a central challenge in modern democracies. The French Revolution also left a lasting imprint on the concept of social change. It popularized the idea that radical, rapid transformation of society was possible and even desirable. This notion would inspire future revolutionaries, from the Bolsheviks in Russia to anti-colonial movements in Africa and Asia. However, the violence and chaos of the revolution also served as a cautionary tale. It demonstrated the potential dangers of radical change and the ease with which revolutionary ideals could be betrayed. This led to the development of more gradualist approaches to social and political reform in many countries. The revolution's impact on culture and the arts was equally profound. It gave rise to new forms of artistic expression and changed the role of the artist in society. The idea of art as a vehicle for political and social commentary, rather than merely a tool for glorifying the powerful, gained prominence during this period. In the realm of education, the revolution's emphasis on reason and secularism led to significant reforms. The establishment of the École Normale Supérieure and other institutions of higher learning set new standards for education and research that would influence academic systems worldwide. As we reflect on the French Revolution, we are confronted with its inherent contradictions and complexities. It was a time of great idealism and horrific violence, of unprecedented social progress and brutal repression. The revolution gave us the language of modern politics and human rights, but it also showed how easily these concepts could be manipulated and abused. The dark sides of the French Revolution serve as a stark reminder that historical events are rarely as simple or as glorious as they may appear in popular narratives. The reign of terror, the rise of Napoleon, and the economic turmoil that followed the revolution all demonstrate the often messy and unpredictable nature of radical change. Yet, despite its failings and the suffering it caused, the French Revolution remains a pivotal moment in human history. Its ideas and consequences continue to shape our world in countless ways. From the structure of our governments to our concepts of citizenship and human rights, the echoes of 1789 resound through the centuries. As we grapple with the challenges of our own time, from political polarization to economic inequality, the lessons of the French Revolution remain relevant. It reminds us of the power of ideas to change the world, but also of the dangers of extremism and the importance of safeguarding democratic institutions. In the end, the French Revolution defies simple categorization as either a triumph or a tragedy. It was and remains a complex tapestry of human aspirations, achievements, and failings. By examining its dark sides and unexpected consequences, we gain a fuller understanding not just of this pivotal event, but of the very nature of historical change itself. The French Revolution, with all its light and shadow, continues to challenge us to think deeply about the societies we create and the values we uphold. It stands as a testament to the enduring human quest for liberty, equality, and justice, and a reminder of the often high price of progress. As we face the uncertainties of our own era, the complex legacy of the French Revolution offers both inspiration and caution, urging us to pursue our ideals while remaining vigilant against the dangers of absolutism in all its forms.